So, hello, welcome back. This is the DOCC number 14. I'm glad you made it back. I decided to do a live version tonight, and I did go on air, almost like a test with YouTube. I'm a new content creator, and I've been doing it now. Oh, excuse me. Lost everybody right there, right? So, yeah, learning all about how the importance of the very beginning of the videos and the hooks and the promise. So, yeah, I'm a new content creator. So the promise is I'm learning as I go. So maybe there is something that you can find from me explaining what I've done during the day, what I learned, or what I picked up as we move towards monetization. So the promise is nothing, but I can tell you I'm learning and growing every day different ways. And sometimes you learn and grow when things aren't going well. As a matter of fact, those are the days you might end up learning the most. And I think the biggest learning curve recently is the discipline to continue and push. When they say your people are going to quit or they get burnt out, I totally get it. Putting some of your best foot forward in the content you're creating, and then ultimately the reward is 14 views or 0 views or 0 subscribers, and I can tell you I understand how it feels. And today was one of those days feeling that, but at the same time processing that and understand I can't let that how it feels just because nobody watched the video or they weren't didn't want to go live or whatever it might be. Best video I've ever done, best song I've ever done, 0 videos. It was probably something I did. Were all my settings proper? Did I forget something that really important? What about my end screens? Am I pushing people to the right video if they click on that video? So all these things I'm beginning to factor, and I get worried and concerned, and I double check my work, and these I think are all part of that discipline and good habits to be in. So today was one of those days. I thought maybe I was trying to get ahead, and funny thing is the more I think I'm getting ahead, it's probably the further I'm getting behind, because when I get ahead, I always think of something else that I want to do. So for my diary of a content creator, I make the diary every day, but you really never see any of the content that I actually create. And I also realized that if I use this page in particular as a hub, I can bring both the content from my Bagel Cinematic Beats page and have that in playlists and video form and even an occasional short on this channel, as well as the Strawberry Brothers, my cat channel, and have that content on this page as well. So it's actually an opportunity, as everyone possibly gets to know me along the journey, that you can also see some of the work and you can see the progress that I may or may not be making on the other channels. So it is the other two channels that give me the basis for realizing that I think I need to do this channel, because this channel is everything I learned from the two other channels. I'm not I'm not concerned about, likes and things like that. I think really what I'm going through as a 50-year-old with no real tech training whatsoever and not really enjoying ever being on the computer, and now I'm learning how to edit. I'm learning how to essentially learn how to promote through titles and descriptions and hooks and captions and thumbnails. These, all this stuff, I wouldn't have known what you meant if I was out in a work environment and someone said, "Can you create a thumbnail for me?" I would have been at a loss. I'm not even kidding. And now I really see how important the thumbnail is, and I am getting in the habit. All of a sudden, I thought it would be a chore and extra work to make a thumbnail before I make the content, but now I'm excited. It's kind of like I don't move on until the thumbnail is created. So it's funny. So tonight I created a thumbnail for going live for the DOCC number 14. And I realized that live content should probably stick in a playlist for live content. And I also felt like I kept that content short. Um, it was, I think nobody was watching, but that's not important. I think what was important is I fear losing the content to YouTube. So if I do it here on the QuickTime, I have the test 15-minute kind of update on YouTube, and then I'm doing this as backup. But I feel like I had more to say. It is getting late in the morning, but I snuck in a nap. I just had something to drink. Life update here. I mean, I don't really have much food in the fridge. I'm kind of on life support monetarily, and I still believe in this dream. I still believe I didn't give up, and the more I don't give up, the more value I see in talking to you here, because this is the real get down and dirty, the nitty gritty. This is it. When life, I mean, I have nowhere to go. I have no place if one of my channels never make it to success and I can't figure out how to work or make it like a business platform. If I can't figure all these things out, I distribute music, but if nobody's promoting it, nobody's gonna buy it. Like all these things, I'm kind of learning on the fly. So it's a lot, or maybe it's not a lot. I don't know. It looks like to me that people have teams, editing team, who thinks up the hook and the title and team. Like too many teams I'm competing with, and I didn't know anything from the start. But I think there's a lot of value in that. I didn't have anybody. I need to learn by doing, and I figured out now how to edit, and I'm comfortable editing, and I almost feel like I'm comfortable feeling like I could shop around and say, look, this is stuff I've done, and maybe I don't know the right software or AI other than iMovie, or and I think I've used Canva or a couple other things just to try them out and realize I'm okay with iMovie. It's what I learned on, so what I'm comfortable with. Changing volume levels, adding my own music to video, doing the editing and the timing, and doing all that a lot of people see as chores and work, and not I do too, but I understand when you are creating the content, that should be your joy as a creator and artist, and maybe that's the artist in me talking to the creator, that when you are creating the work that you should do what the artist in you is telling. It's not done until it's done, and you really know what that is. If something's wrong and you're striving for perfection and your brain notices an imperfection that you can't, you wouldn't watch your own content and it would bother you, that's when you need to know that you should fix it, or be aware that you don't want to make those mistakes. I think that's a good learning lesson. So I would say 2 weeks ago, the lesson would be do your title, end screen, do the work, put in not just like backyard barbecue, but have a catchy title that someone might want to click on. And you're also providing YouTube apparently information with your title, with your keywords that you put in your description. So if you do want to grow as a channel, these are things you should think about. And then, like I always say, if you do the subtitle and then you go into the languages and you make your subtitling that you can upload your script, if you have that. My script is usually a song, so I can put the lyrics of the song into the subtitling, and then I could distribute that subtitling out in more than one language, more than just English. So I think one of the countries that I'm having success in is Brazil. So now I always make sure I'll go into the language and put Portuguese Brazil as one of the languages. My son is growing up in Japan, and so I always like to put Japanese as one of my languages. And then I realized, well, I don't want to discriminate across the world. So I do Arabic most of the time. Sometimes I'm a little bit lazy. I go to Chinese, and I know there's a lot of different, Mandarin, etc., but I stick with Chinese. Um, and then French, German. I figure if we learned those in school, I didn't, I learned Spanish, but French and German, so include those. Hindi, I think there's like a billion people in India who might be speaking Hindi. So that's a billion people that can watch my videos. So I do Hindi, Japanese, like I said. Koreans are very hip to American culture. So I like to do Korean. And then Russian, I don't know why. No particular reason. I just think it's probably a big. I like when I do the subtitling, and I click on it and I see the Russian language. I can't understand the thing of it. Like for this channel, like German, welcome in Evan Linden, so makes you feel special for just a second. And then I do Spanish, and I also noticed that on Bagel Cinematic Beats that Spanish Mexico, so Mexican uh, Spanish speakers from Mexico, which is slightly different than like Spanish speakers from Spain. Um, I've been to both countries, so I kind of understand it. So I like to just, you know, do those two languages. So that's a lot of layers of languages. And ultimately, I don't know if that helps or hurts, but I do it. And I do it as part of my routine now for pretty much every video I make, short or long. It's just the habit I've gotten into, and maybe a habit you might want to consider. As you get bigger, which I haven't, maybe you won't find it as necessary. You already have your subscriber base. So I do that regardless as to where I'm at. It's just what I do now. It's habit, and I kind of fear that I know I need like something like this. I should probably chapter off, make it easier for you, make it easier for YouTube. But I'm not. I'm not there yet. I'm still into the idea that creating content is overall number one, most important, and then wanting to get that quality of content up, and not realizing that I don't need to post anymore every single day. I need to post when my work is done, and it's putting into a plan and then having the willingness to adapt to whatever that plan might be. So originally, I think it was like the machine gun. I think yesterday, if you watched Doc, I had the Godzilla metaphor where the YouTube algorithm is Godzilla, and we need to respect Godzilla. I mean, I never had a problem with Godzilla. I do a Godzilla impersonation of the atomic breath. It's most people don't like me after I do that impersonation, so I'll hold off. But lots of respect for Godzilla, and so the algorithm is trying to work for me, and maybe it you're not hitting it right from the beginning, so it puts you in the back, but that doesn't mean like it won't find you later, and I don't know about later yet. So I am in the now, and I think there's a lot of power in that, in being in the now, and there's a little bit of the unknown. So I did the 15-minute live tonight, and I was fearful that I didn't get to say what I probably everything that I wanted to say, and that's another thing about live content. It's just something about being live, and then I've kind of felt like I needed the safety of home, which turns out to be the QuickTime player, and I really mentally feel more grounded right now, so I don't think like I'll be missing details, and that's for you out there. And for me in the future, being if I'm still the only person who's ever seen this video, I'll be able to at least learn and grow. And that is what one of my big positive key lessons was today. I think it came to me in the backyard, or it just came like just, you know, doing doing me in a sense that trusting in me and having the plan and sticking to the plan, being willing to adapt to the plan, and then the plan seemed to all come together. And for this channel, that plan coming together was, why shouldn't it be a hub for all my content that I've been creating? Why, as a content creator, the other channels have content that I've created. As long as I'm organized and neat how I go about it on this channel, it's actually an opportunity for you to learn and see what I have done in content creation already, and then maybe you'd be more willing to join me live with questions you might have about content that I've created, or how I do create it, and what I create on a daily basis, and my workload, and my discipline now on getting done what I need to get done and letting it become more routine. So if I am going to talk about my day a little bit, um, well, I'm up late at night, so, and then when I finally do get my rest, and I was getting up at 9 or 10 a.m., and that was when I was getting 4 hours a night, and I did that for like 5 weeks, and I think that caught up to me. So now I am trying to be like more disciplined and trying to get to bed early, but the most of my best work is actually happening late at night. So it's a cross between that, and then the real life concerns are starting to kick in. So I know I need to be on a more normal um, time frame. So that being said, everything starts to come together, and my idea is get all my content eventually on this page. And the moment I had that idea, I realized how much more work that's going to be. But that idea came because we're transitioning. If you remember, I've been talking about this. We're transitioning from short form to long form. And I know I've created good short form that was kind of like long form video. It really wasn't meant to be a short, but that's the bad habit I got into, is short, 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 and viewership hours still nothing, because shorts don't count for viewership hours. And I certainly wasn't getting any near the 1 million, 3 million views. I mean, one video is at 71,000, but that's still not anywhere where it would need to be for monetization in short form. So my thinking is, and I do prefer like a little bit longer form video, but for that channel specifically, I can only make about, seems like 2 minutes of content, new content a day. So I was going to talk a little bit about how I schedule my time, and that maybe you can benefit from that out there. And if you have questions, comments, or concerns, put them in the comments, and I'll get to them. I promise. I really do. I go through all my channel, and this being the most important one, really, but I don't really get to it until like 2:33 in the morning. And I know I have a video releasing like every other day in the Diary of a Content Creator series. So if you ever do want to get caught up with that, you can just go right into the playlist. It's listed, unlisted, when I do the video individually, and the playlist is public. So you can get into the public playlist, and every video should be available. And if not, then I guess you just gotta wait one day after the next. And I think this is the first video that will be posted after Christmas. So Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining me. Now back to how we actually do our work for the day as a content creator. So I'm pretty disciplined now. I think after this, I do like I have a magic short video that's, really kid oriented stuff that, I mean, it's cute as an adult, but it's short and sweet. It's kind of me as a program, like as a channel programmer. I just like the algorithm to know I'm out here, and here's a short for you. And maybe I'm also trying to hit the overseas crowd a little bit, or the East Coast crowd a little bit. And sometimes those videos get like a lot of views, like between 300, uh, normally over 100, sometimes over 1,000. And I'm just shocked, because some of my good content that I put a lot of time on with my original music Quiet. All quiet on Godzilla's front. So we have our Godzilla algorithm, the YouTube algorithm, Godzilla. We need to be nice to Godzilla. We want Godzilla on our team. We want Godzilla on our side. And I realized keep Godzilla happy, we want to feed Godzilla the right things at the right time. So I have my 2 cats. So my day kind of starts like this. I do content. I check my channels, check the analytics a little bit. Look at the subscriber count. I check. I check a lot. I check more than I'm supposed to, but I'm getting to the point where stop checking. It's not healthy to see subscriber total go down and you don't know why. Is it a YouTube checking or people just are like, this isn't for me? So, but at the same time, I'm watching subscribers go up, and on the cat channel, I never see it go down. But on the Bagel Cinematic Beats channel, which is getting like 100 subscribers a day, now it's actually regular and expected for me to see a fluctuation down. YouTube doing corrections for channels that have over 1,000 subscribers, and so I don't mind it. I'm over 1,000. I'm over 2,000. I'm maybe gonna get to 5,000 by the year 2026, and then that should help me in my decision making moving forward on programming and effort. Like if my cat channel is at like 229 subscribers right now, so it still goes up like 1, 2, 3 a day, sometimes 5, sometimes more. So I'm being disciplined about a podcast that I do that's more adult related content that I enjoy doing. So if I enjoy doing it, that's going to show in the content work that I create. So I enjoy doing it, but I do feel that's a 1 a day thing and that's a short. And eventually I can put all those shorts together and make a long form video. I think that's what I was talking about earlier. Now I'm looking, how can I group content to make long form video so you can just come to the long form video and watch it. And then as I'm doing that for my other channels, why shouldn't I bring it to this content creator page as well? It's content I've created, and you'll be able to check it out and judge for yourself. And if you don't check it out, fine. If you just want to stick to the diary, then we'll do that. And if you can tune in live but not 3:30 in the morning, we can adjust those times down the road. And I think that's what you have the ability as a content creator, is you have that type of freedom if all you're doing is content creation and being a programmer and running your channel. So I don't have teams of people doing that for me. So these are all things I'm open to, and I hope eventually down the line, you know, I'll show you how I did it in a course, but I'm going to use information from these diaries to create my course. Obviously, this is really going to be the Dewey Decimal System for me for learning and growing as a person and growing as a channel. There's a bug on my computer. Uh, it was a real bug, not a computer bug. So I get it, all you computer people out there. So for you, the content creators out there that had a background in tech already, major advantage to you guys. So use your advantage wisely. You know, if you're really good on a computer, then that's your tool. That's your main asset right now as a content creator. If you're really good at editing, then I think you should do your own editing. I think as you grow, then you can outsource your editing to someone like me, maybe, who enjoys doing the editing now that I've learned how to do it. And I think that's a big process to it. If you take the time and put in the hours learning how to edit, then you're actually going to get good at editing, and boom, you make content and I'm going to edit that real quick. And then as you're making content, you think how you might edit it. So as you're making content, you might be better at your videoing or whatever because you want to save some work down the line for your editing. Shame on me. I'm not going to go into my diary and edit. So I hope that you stay tuned and you hear what I'm saying. This is the raw, and that's just how it's going to be. And this is still early on this channel, so I haven't had the time to really get into this channel's content, and I actually still feel I'm building my roots, so to speak, of this library, and I think that's key. So I'm not like aggressively putting out videos, but here and there I'm going to put out the outtakes as a short. You never know. Some of those outtakes are pretty wild. I mean, the one yesterday where uh, I tried to get like I said to have her the hand on the stick shift to go into like hyper outer space, warp speed, whatever I was telling the video generator, and it turned into something a little phallic, and I was that's how I got the idea to do the outtakes and put it on this channel. So if you watch the outtakes that I did like yesterday, like December 4th, I guess, it's the second version of outtakes that I've done, and you get to that last scene, you'll see what I mean. And that's why kind of started the road to getting content that I've done onto this page, and I think it makes sense. Content on this page that didn't make the grade and all the problems I had generating the content, those are problems we have as content creators. So this is kind of the serious side of things, and I do take this seriously. Like my life's on the line, essentially, like financially and time invested, and I can't go anywhere and do anything because I'm treating my channels like my kids, because I see it as my son's future. If I do well, that I'll be able to provide for him. So it's not just my life on the line here, and I'm all in. And as a gambler in life, and knowing you're all in on something, and having the like feeling I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this my road, and then I know I'll have this the rest of my life, or as long as YouTube is alive. But they're growing. YouTube's growing. That's the number I see. So 18 billion is going to like 36 billion or something like that, and it'll probably happen faster than that. The population in the world is growing, and this is the tool to be able to get to the whole world. If you have something to say and then can figure out how to say it, or how to do your thumbnail and your caption so people click, you're literally could be a day away from that being a, I'm not saying an icon, but someone that the world recognizes, or immediately get recognized, and you should have a whole library of content waiting for people to find when you have it. So I know I don't have that content yet for this page, and I started to think it, well, yeah, I do. I have 2 channels that are overloaded with content because I've put too much content. Instead of having the idea of a video a week, I've been trying to get a video a day. And my videos were too short. Too short for people to watch to get viewership hours for monetization. So I'm revamping everything, and that's the process that you should hear now. So build your library full of long content first, and once you have your live long form content library created, you can do podcasts on anything you want. You can go live, and then you can cut that content and put it in any playlist you want, or launch it as its own video, or you know, trim it down any way you like. But start long and go short, and have it build your library. So I'm taking a gamble. My library isn't so strong. I am relying right now that what we want to learn as content creators, we're learning here. Give a comment down below if you have something to say or questions that you need to learn. I'm about 6 weeks in. Maybe you're about a week in. Maybe you're a few weeks in. And what I have to say works because, like I said, I didn't know what a thumbnail was. I didn't know what a hook was. And now I know those are things I need to develop because I could be one hook away or one good thumbnail away from my next plateau, or that could be one subscriber, it could be 10 subscribers, or whatever the formula is. And then if you find that formula, you want to repeat it. So I'm still hunting for my formula, but I'm also trusting my instinct and my gut as just as a person who works hard and is trying to make everything correct. So a big lesson today is probably realizing maybe it's my fault by maybe my content sucks, or maybe my content just didn't find the right audience yet. And so now every piece of content I create, I think that it will find its audience eventually, and that could be a year from now. So knowing that, it took like a little bit of pressure off I need to monetize tomorrow. Other people have monetized in 21 days. Why can't I? And I realized whatever it is, I'm going to figure it out because I believe in myself and I believe in you. If you've made it this far on this video, you understand sincerity and passion, and if we put our energy together, give a like, subscribe, but the really I want you to subscribe so you know like when the next content comes out or if I go live, and we can actually grow this page as a place and an opportunity where we're learning how to create content together and how to get to monetization together. So I feel that. I want that for all of us. And I never realized I wanted something, and it just seems like all paths led to this, and I realized this was something I've always wanted to do my whole life. Create movies, and in this case on YouTube it's content, not movies, but I can make movies if I want. The sky is the limit. You can do whatever you want to do. So I'm implementing my plans. When I have an idea, I implement the plan. So my idea was to go live with this every night, late at night. But I'm willing to change and make pivots. So most people probably aren't watching late at night. So, but I do want to see going live if that's an easy way to get this content directly into YouTube. And then I got nervous about that, so I make this. So I'm comfortable making the video form as well. It all gets grouped into playlist. When the playlist gets big, time for a new playlist. Growing the library. So when you do have that lucky, well, not lucky, you worked hard on it, but it could be 100 videos from now. And when you have that video, your library, your roots are strong. And people get into your library and then they learn and grow from your library. As they learn and grow from your library, your playlist, and your courses that you've been able to create from your learning curve, you're letting and allowing people to learn fast. And that's what we crave as humans, knowledge. And that's the power. Knowledge is power. So learn from my mistakes here. Okay? I am at literally a very magic number for me. So it's 3:53 a.m. My mother's born on the 3rd. I'm born on 5/3. So thank you for tuning in today. This is the DOCC number 4. I don't know how you found me, but you found me. Peace out.